So that one has a dial tone. So we have to have a working phone in every suite. We have to have a working phone in every suite, so that one is a dial tone. Have you ever heard a dial tone before, sir?
No.
Would you like to? No?
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's
just
Good, all
Let's
right.
do it.
You're welcome to if you wish. You just put that up to your ear.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we used to listen to before we pushed someone's number, so that we could know that it was ready for us to enter someone's number. So there you go. And then kind of weird how that happens. That we lose the dial tone and then it's like it's a relic. It's wild. So and then you've got an ashtray, as would have been throughout the hotel at the time, and a vacuum tube radio. Come on in here, I'll show you a few other things. We'll also discuss the legend of Annalisa Netherly as well. So upon entering this room, a lot of people notice the, besides the creepy art and the beautiful bathroom, a lot of people notice the bars on the windows.
Mm-hmm.
The bars have a history behind them. There was a time, actually, when some of our guests would climb out of their lower story windows, hop on the Union Station train across the street from us, bypass the front desk, and not pay their bill. So we put bars on all the bottom 3 floors in order to prevent that from happening. Fire code came in and said, you can't trap people in a hotel, it's a fire hazard. So we took all the bars back down. Except for this room. This room got to retain its bars, and that was important. I tell you that whole story about the bars going up and down because this room had bars apparently in 1931, and that's when an infamous criminal who needed bars on his windows stayed at the Reed House. So he stayed in this room apparently. So this guy had been caught on tax evasion, the only thing they could make stick. I've heard a lot of murderers were caught on tax evasion, and that was how they managed to capture them. But this guy, he was convicted by the judge. He's brought north by the police from Atlanta towards Chicago, stopped in Chattanooga on the way. This is Al Capone, of course, and I'm sure you read about him in the newspaper when you handed them out the other day. So Al Capone, usually you think of a criminal as someone you put in the dungeon of a hotel, or in a dungeon somewhere. But Al Capone was Al Capone, so he got a nice suite with bars on his windows. So he got this one, and also I'm told he had the police had guards out there on the roof. That would be in order to keep him in, but also to protect him because the man had enemies. I will say,
That was me.
I will say, I think it's ironic that they put a murderer, like Al Capone in the same room that a murder had happened in. So that was 1931 that he was here. 4 years earlier, 1927, is when Annalisa Netherly's story begins in this suite, 311. So Annalisa Netherly, I'll just stand right over here so you can face everybody. Annalisa Netherly was a San Franciscan. She was a pretty young lady, probably in her early 20s, married. Her husband was on a long business trip. He had left her here probably with a lot of money on extended stay. And Miss Netherly, left alone with lots of time on her hands, spacious room, lots of money, probably got a little bored. A little ennui set in, and she went downstairs to the bar and billiards, where she found handsome young gentlemen playing billiards down there. And well, Miss Netherly did some things here in Chattanooga that maybe Mr. Netherly didn't like at all. I'll just put it that way when he found out, because he had contacts in Chattanooga, keeping an eye on her. He found out, he was incensed, probably intense too, but he was incensed, found the Reed House, came back to Chattanooga, found the Reed House, located her room, barged in. She was bathing at the time. Come on in here if you wish. She was bathing. He took a straight razor off the counter and shaved while he was waiting a little bit. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, he didn't shave. But he took a straight razor off the counter and slit her throat. Cut her head almost completely off, actually. Housekeeping found her a few days later. It was a nasty surprise. And that's why we're not surprised, however, if Annalisa Netherly continues to haunt Suite 311. So that's her story. Feel free to take any pictures as it seems you are, and just know that Annalisa has been known to photobomb pictures from time to time. So I will say it's the guests who try to stay overnight that tend to agitate Annalisa the most. And she doesn't like men, apparently, men who smoke in particular. So we've noticed that over the 100 years that she's been here. Let's see, probably her husband was probably a smoker. Also, let's see, yes, she photobombs pictures in mirrors sometimes. We have a picture about that. And I will say there's a few, it's the guests who try to stay overnight that seem to agitate her the most. There's a few stories I could tell you about that if you wish.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, so one guy was laying on the bed. His wife was sitting at the foot of the bed, or sat at the foot of the bed, so he thought. He looked up, and his wife wasn't there. It wasn't his wife at all, or no one was there, apparently. Another couple made it through the night, surprisingly. They don't often make it through the night, but they don't always anyway. But they couldn't sleep all night though, because they thought there was a figure in the corner behind you, sir, standing, observing them all night. And the scariest story I can tell you though, however, is Halloween of 2020. I can tell you, I don't have to if you don't want me to, but it's pretty scary, I think. But what do you think? Should I go for it?
Go for it.
Absolutely. All right. So Halloween of 2020, the guests. This is a true story. I'll tell you the little details just so you know it's real. So Halloween of 2020, the guests paid their $999 plus tax and didn't make it past midnight. They left before midnight. So the woman of the couple called the front desk and said, "I need out of this room. I've never seen him like this. I need another room." Talking about her husband. So Dennis, the night auditor, who had picked up the phone, sent Dylan and Lisa up here, two food and beverage managers at the time. So Dylan is actually right now a server at Bridgman's. I think he may be here tonight. If not, he'll be here shortly. But I mean, he serves at Bridgman's now. Anyway, if you go to Bridgman's, you can ask him. He may turn pale when you ask him. If he tells you, but he could tell you the same thing because he's the one I heard this from. So when Dylan came up here with Lisa, the other food and beverage manager, he noticed the man of the couple on the floor. He had been drinking. He was shaking and cursing everybody in the room with some kind of dark voice. And according to Dylan, the guy was possessed. And it sounds like it to me, actually. Whew. But anyway, they moved them to another room because we always leave a room open for guests who try to make it through the night in 311. But I'm not sure what happened to them after that. I will say, well, actually, we always leave a room open for guests to try to stay in 311. It used to be that it was a free room move. Now we charge. I think this year they're starting to charge for that. But anyway, yeah, that's the scariest story I can tell you about this this room that I can remember. You guys have any questions about anything? Or about like the art or anything, or the